Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in this video we have with us the 5th generation all new Mercedes-Benz C-Class with us in the top of the line C300d AMG Line trim. And because this is going to be a pure driving review, we are going to discuss aspects such as the engine performance, ride quality, the suspension tune, the handling and the platform which makes this the all new W206 chassis of the Mercedes-Benz C-Class. So without wasting any time, let's get along with the review right from the driver's seat. At a time when diesel engines are going scarce and the environmentalists are keeping their yardstick ready for the internal combustion engine cars, this diesel engine up front seems to be like the saving grace for not only enthusiasts but also the tree huggers out there. But before we get into more details about this engine, let's just try to understand all the engines on offer in India for this generation of the C-Class. Starting off with the petrol, and that is the least powerful 1.5 liter engine. I believe that's Renault sourced because of the overall Renault-Nissan tie-up with Mercedes. If you remember, the Mercedes also had a pickup truck just some time back which was based on the Nissan Navara, and so overall that tie-up has resulted in an engine in the form of the 1.5 liter. So that is the petrol engine for Mercedes in India. Then they have the C220 diesel, which is a 2-liter diesel engine and sort of a, you can say, detuned engine of the similar engine what we are having in our car, which is the test car. And then we have the C300d, which is the most powerful one, 265 horsepower, 550 Newton meters of torque, which we will discuss at length in this video. But the important thing connecting all of these engines is a 48 volt mild hybrid system, and that is something which is keeping the overall emissions in check, at the same time being very economical as well. So coming back to this 2-liter diesel engine, this is a derivative of the 220d and it is codenamed the OM654M. The key modifications done to this engine allow it to make 265 horsepower and 550 Newton meters of torque. And in addition to that, with the EQ boost, which is the electrically assisted the mild hybrid technology, making this making an additional 20 horsepower available or 200 Newton meters on demand whenever required. So this might be probably the most technologically advanced diesel engine in its class, or probably classes higher as well, at least for Indian market. So this 300d in the C-Class is probably feeling magical and quick. It just pulls at any RPM. So this engine accelerates, feels and overall pulls like a 6-cylinder. So I would say that is enough to keep the enthusiast happy throughout. And not only that, well, the only negative is that it may not sound like a 6-cylinder, and it may not be also as smooth or refined, and well, that gets better after the second gear. First and second gears, the car doesn't sound that good, but overall past that, you know, I'm sure none of the enthusiasts will have any complaints with this engine in this C-Class as a C300d. As we spoke about the gearbox, it is important to note that this is a 9-speed unit and Mercedes call it the 9G-tronic. I believe the exact code is W9A700, sort of indicating an automatic or W series automatic with 700 Newton meters of torque as the capacity of this gearbox. So overall this gearbox is doing a plenty good job in not being too confused, because 9 gears is a lot, and also being never too jerky, at least not in the comfort and eco mode. Sport mode, yes, it can give you the on-demand jerks, but those are good jerks, and not much of complaint with the gearbox as well. So that is about the gearbox. Now for the tree huggers. So this car, with all its power and performance, it is still economical, because the ARAI rated fuel economy for this Mercedes is approximately 20 kilometers to the liter. So with the kind of performance, the kind of acceleration, the kind of economy, with the electrical assistance, and in the form of a torquey diesel motor up front, this engine might be the game changer what diesel engines have been waiting for since a long time. So to understand the handling performance and the suspension tune, it is important to understand the platform of this Mercedes-Benz W206 C-Class. Because this is a rear-wheel drive car, this belongs to the MRA platform, but the second generation of the MRA. So MRA stands for Modular Rear Architecture. So this new generation of the MRA2 platform allows an integration for the rear wheels to have a steering, and also uses a lot many aluminum components to make this platform lighter than the outgoing MRA1 platform. So coming to the steering, yes, I am aware of that this car doesn't have rear wheel steering, but in the international markets it does offer rear wheel steering, as we've seen with the CBU version of the S-Class, which was launched a few months back. So definitely that would have been something really special if they would have offered the rear wheel steering in India. It would have been a segment first, and probably the first car to offer that in under 1 crore. So, but again, coming back to the platform, so overall this platform makes the car feel definitely more agile than the outgoing one, and special mention the steering. And though it's completely electric, it is having a great amount of feel, particularly in sport mode. It weighs up pretty well, and great design, you know, because this is the AMG line trim. It gets this new design steering wheel. It feels extremely special to hold, to feel and make turns, or at any instance while you're in the cabin. Even looking at it, it just feels extra special. The suspension also is tuned to be more dynamic, and truly adding to that overall fun nature of this car. A quick critical feedback about this suspension is that at this price point, I would have loved if they could have offered an air suspension, and that would have really spiced things up much more in favor of the ride quality as well, which has taken a slight beating. So we are running on a staggered setup of 225 45 R18 up front and a 245 40 18 at the rear. So this is a low profile in any standard, though it is having a great look, but it does give way when it comes to the overall ride being, you can say, the Mercedes corporate ride. So for people who would want a better ride quality, definitely the other variants are not having the 18 inches. Those are riding on the 17s. So that will surely have a better ride quality because of the higher sidewalls. Coming to the braking system, because we need to discuss this in the handling department. We do get very large brakes up front with a very handsome looking cross-drilled rotors and a fairly large size caliper. So not only do they look good, but they also perform equally well. There's no doubt that the design language has been inspired from the top of the line S-Class, but there is a continuity in the design philosophy, which is the sensual purity, and these are two words which actually define the Mercedes design language since the past year or so, when the S-Class came out. So overall in the C-Class there is that sensual purity, but with an added touch of sportiness. The designing was done to achieve the look and feel of the car being in motion while being standstill. Now coming to the interiors. These are sort of an highlight and maybe the USP for general audience. thanks to this large floating screen interface and the latest generation of the MBUX software. However, my favorite bit in this entire dashboard are these AC vents, which take clear inspiration from the aviation industry. The rear seat space is not the best, and I really hope they do offer a long wheelbase version of this C-Class, which is available outside India for the Chinese market. So I really wish that variant makes it to India for this generation of the C-Class. As this is a driver focused review, I'm not going into explaining all the small elements and the features of this car, but I do have two noteworthy observations. Point number one, this car misses out on an basic feature such as the keyless entry, which is not done and not acceptable at this price point. And point number two, this car misses out on a head-up display. So this is something as a driver-centric or a driver point of view feature which should have not been missed, particularly for this expensive top-of-the-line AMG Line variant. Right, so it's time to address the elephant in the room, which is the pricing. Cars today have become so pricey that it has become very challenging to answer questions such as whether a car is worth or whether it's not worth, because the segments too have shifted, and with variants such as the AMG Line, in this case with its AMG Line treatment and a fancy engine up front, is today worth approximately 61 lakh ex-showroom. Is it worth it? Well, it has been a seller's market since past many months, so the answer to that question doesn't really matter. If you really like this car and this product with this engine and this AMG Line kit, then might as well go and buy it. And on that note, thank you for watching.